So that was the last real good book I read.
Really?
Yeah, not the good book, but
A good book? What is
Yeah.
the good book?
You never heard of the good book? People call the Bible the good book.
Oh, right. Yeah. I read
Yeah.
that one.
No. I don't believe you.
I
At
did.
all.
Bro, I went to a Christian college for 4 years
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
dropped out.
No,
So,
I com-
yeah, I've read it a little bit.
That completely slipped my mind. I don't really know why that was what. So, anyways, so this is Discussions and Utter Stupidity. Welcome to the party. Of course, this is Mike and Sane kicking it with you.
Hi.
Hey, and this thing has been a long time coming. And I want to apologize to you specifically.
Yeah.
Sane, I'm sorry. As many times as I've stated in the past that we were going to do this, that we were going to get it done, and
So, are you discussions and I'm other stupidity?
I'm so glad that you got that.
Yeah.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you.
I mean, the last one always crosses the finish line sometimes.
Every once in a while, I suppose. Yeah. So anyways, I'm Mike. I'm a military brat. Well, at least was a military brat. I started my journey, my life, in California, and then ended up in Oklahoma from that military bratness, and eventually made it into radio, where I met this dude. This guy. We hosted a morning show together, but before that morning show, I mean, you were born in Arkansas.
Yeah,
And
bruh.
you said that you ended up in Oklahoma because of of the Christian college?
Yeah. So I was like, they were like, "You want to go to college?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so."
I don't know why I didn't remember any of that from when we were doing the show together.
I never really talked about it.
You seem ashamed.
It's not that I'm ashamed. I mean, I actually enjoyed the Christian college.
Yeah.
I didn't do any like schoolwork or like, try, but I mean, it was fun while I was there for sure.
What were you going for?
Originally I was going for behavioral science because I'm a problem apparently. And you know how they say that people that study psychology, they're only doing it to figure out what's wrong with themselves? Never figured it out.
So, and we're still trying to figure that out too right now.
Indeed.
But so how did you end up in radio? How did that go?
Man, I was sitting at home after I dropped out of school and I was working at like Arby's as a as a shift lead.
I remember those stories. There's these other little fillers that I didn't remember.
I was watching TV one night and I seen a commercial for American Broadcasting School. And it's like, "Do you want a career in radio?" I was like, "Sure."
I don't doubt that that's
and
exactly
they were like,
how that
"Pay
went.
us $25 and we will get you a degree." And I was like, $25.
So what
And
made
here
you
I
like
am.
the thing is like was it something that you had considered before and it was just like, hey, radio? Like, is that what
No,
happened?
I mean, it wasn't even that, man. Like, I grew up, my dad, he was a musician. And my uncle, he had a recording studio in a mobile home, like outside of Little Rock. And so I was always around like musicians and stuff. And so like the idea of working in radio, I was like, I could do that, and it just kind of became a thing. And here I am 15 years later, midlife crisis style.
So wow. So anybody who's heard my story, like I've wanted to do radio since I was 5. Like I was using karaoke machines that my cousin had and just recording my own little like radio breaks and intros.
Were you really?
Yeah, bro. I wish I need to call my cousin up so that I can get those tapes. Like they're literally
did you say like, and now a word from our sponsor?
Actually, so my favorite thing growing up, because I was kind of a weirdo, was doing impressions. And so I would do this portion of the radio show is brought to you by. And then I would start like a fake commercial because that's how that goes. Like usually it's just like that brief, awkward pause. So I was like that. I paid that much attention to detail. And so that's eventually like I in life I didn't want to go to college, didn't want to continue school and all of that, and so I ended up getting like a mobile DJ job, did events, did some clubs, and did for Thunder for a little while. And then somebody told me when I was working in minor league baseball as an MC that I needed to go to college to make the connections to get into radio.
Right.
So I went ahead and did that, and then I ended up at the station that we were at, and So then when we started, when I got my morning show after a couple of years of just being a producer, um, I don't even honestly remember how you got involved. And I feel like you have a theatric version of how
Theatric version.
theatric version.
All right, so here's the theatric version. I was sitting at my desk one day. I was working on something really important because everything I do is super important. Don't waste my time. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
And
Especially the last 5 years.
and from like the corner of the room, I hear these little footsteps, and then I look, and you're out of breath, you're panting, you're sweating, and you're going, Sane. You're breathing like Matthew Fox in Lost. You're like, I can't do it, man. Can't do the show. It's all bad. I suck. I need help. And
Okay,
I'm like, Mike, calm down. Okay, it's gonna be okay. I'll help you. Okay, what do you need me to do? And I'm like super calm and collected, you know, like, and nothing bothers me. I don't care, whatever, you know. And I'm like, sure, I'll show up an hour late than, you know, the show start time, which I did, and then I'll fall asleep during segments of the show, which I did.
Bro,
Right?
I have so many videos from you falling asleep in the show. Like during the so this is no joke. Sane came on as our producer, which means he was the third man. And
Story of my
so
life.
well, it's just been a third wheel my whole life. So the third man basically is the comedic relief usually, and Sane would show up and I would have everything scripted out and ready to go. I put it on what I called the show sheet.
Mhm.
And whoever the co-host was throughout this entire thing, it's changed a couple of times, would look at the show sheet and we would just go by the show sheet. Sane would show me like, yeah, where are we at? What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Not once look at the show sheet. I'm like, dude,
No, I'm
I've got
not gonna look at
specific.
the show sheet, man. Like, no,
What's
no.
What's funny is I would write specific things on the show sheet that you were supposed to like come in with and say, and you
Mhm.
actually just ended up saying them on your own because I just
Yeah.
knew you at that point. So our dynamic became yeah, I don't want to talk about this. Let me derail this motherfucker. So I had it all planned out, and then Sane would just come in and derail it, and
Yeah.
listeners had no idea. And it was
Which
like,
it I will tell you this, if you talk to any of my family, that's been me ever since I was like 4, 5 years old. It's like whatever situation is happening, I'm gonna just come in and just
so the whole fly by the seat of my pants and like the whole like, well, I'll figure it out as I go along. I thought that I did that.
no.
And then I met you and I was like, this is not even close to what I've ever done ever.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I guess I'll do that. That's cool. Whatever.
Yeah. So it was a fun dynamic. It was kind of a game that we played. It was like cat and mouse. And then the day came when you hit me with the coconut song. And I hated every moment of it. So we had no. You tell it. You
All
have
right.
to.
So we had this introduction piece that ran before the show every day. And it was my job to make sure that like audio from the show the previous day, like it would be like a highlight moment or it'd be something funny that happened or, you know, whatever, you know. And so one day I said to myself, I don't want to skim through the show and like look for
I don't want to do my job, is
a
what you
fake
said.
multiple times. But
Wow.
so I was like, you know what? I think it's just a good time just to screw with him, you know? So I went on YouTube and I started looking around YouTube because I was wasting 4 or 5 hours on the clock as I normally do. And I found what? They don't care. No one's listening to me from my job currently.
Anyway,
Um, so I found this song and it's called the Coconut Song. And it, you know, it's a guy and he's like, the coconut nut is a giant nut. If you eat too much, you get very fat. Hilarious to me. I'm laughing at it, probably because I was a little high, but
it's good to know. It's good to know the condition in which you were in doing the show.
I mean, bro.
I mean, I was
Anyway,
always that way too. So.
right. So like I found the song. I was like, okay, so you come in one morning, you're not in a good mood because it's morning time. And So you play the intro.
Dude, I usually came
Anything
in
you
in a
want to
good
add
mood.
to that?
Yes, I usually came in a really good mood, and that day I was just tired, and I just wasn't having it, and I hit this button, and the button says show intro, and when I hit that show intro, it just changes every day, and it's just that one little clip that changes. Everything else is the same, but I'm at the mercy of the end of the button. I can't just fast forward through the button. I can't just like end the button because
Oh
it's the intro of
man,
the entire show and it sets the tone for the day. And this dude set the tone for the day because it
bro.
all of a sudden it's the wild wake up. It's the cookie that is a big old that, and it just 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes of
Yeah,
that song, and I'm just sitting there like this.
and honestly, like when you if you've ever heard the song, which I don't know many people that have when I play it for them because I lived my life in the past. So
So I'm sitting there waiting for the button, just glaring at him, and this dude does this one grin that he does anytime he knows he's bested me, he's won, and so it's that right there, and I'm just sitting there like,
yeah,
and I can't say anything, I can't break character, but as soon as we come in, I go, I hate you
yep.
so much right now. That's exactly that's how I
You said
started the
that
show.
multiple times.
Yeah, but that's how I started the show that day, and so the rest of
Yeah,
the show, that was probably the most cat and mouse that we ever had because you were like, "Yep, it's on today," and I was trying to be on my best. Mind you, I have ADHD, and
true.
I didn't have anything that was helping me. Like I wasn't medicated at the time, anything like that, and so
Right.
it was
There was
already.
also there was also the time you came back from vacation and I put the Avengers intro music as the show open.
And it was another minute and a half that I had to just sit there and wait for it to
Bro,
finish.
it was like and you know how Marvel does with the orchestra.
Oh, they
You
get
know what I
into it,
mean?
and I'm
Like
just like, when
it's
is this
like
gonna
a
stop?
whole thing, man. And it's just like brum, brum, and it goes and everything. And then at the end of it, like I cut it off and I went, nah, I put the Avengers intro into the show. Welcome back, jackass.
You sure did. Like it cut immediately. Like it just the music cut immediately, and I heard that, and I'm just looking at him like, bro. Everybody else in the studio is cracking up, and I'm just like, you son of a bitch, you
Yep.
son. Because like I was always thrown off, no matter what you picked at the beginning there. So those were fun times being in radio. So now,
Man.
fast forward, obviously, you got let go during radio, and what's weird is I got let go right before the year of the COVID, the
Like
year of
right
Leviticus.
before. Like you got what was it, last week of February?
It was the first week of February.
Oh, same thing.
So it was the first week of February. I went and got a job in concerts
Mhm.
because that was a good idea. The year of the Leviticus, and so I got a job in concerts, and then obviously that went well. And so after that, I ended up going and working in a warehouse, and then fast forward, I ended up working in telecommunications.
It could
Moved a
be
couple of
worse, you
times.
know.
Yeah,
You could be a Twitch streamer or something.
true. That some Twitch streamers are making some serious money, but
Dude.
but regardless, it just all this time since the show, I was like,
You
let's
know what
do a
I've always
podcast.
wondered though? You know what I've always wondered though, like
Hmm.
legit about the Twitch streamers. Like, let's talk about it because derail. So
So it begins. What up?
so like when you watch people play video games on Twitch, right? They're usually good at the video game.
Usually,
Usually. Like I've seen a couple people play a couple games that I like to watch them play. Like there's one dude who plays Final Fantasy 7
hmm
and like he plays the new version and that's really cool. Another dude who plays Zelda games, that's really cool. And a couple girls on there, they're really cool, but I don't watch them play or anything. But that's neither here nor there, Mike. But you don't ever
Oh my
see
god.
anybody on Twitch that just straight up sucks at the game they're playing. Like you don't.
Have you seen?
No, I
You
haven't
still
seen
haven't?
anybody. I haven't seen anybody who's like, "Up, I died." 2 seconds later, up, I died again.
What if there's a whole Twitch? There's a
There's
whole
gotta
entire
be
account where it's just,
like
oh, I died.
username I underscore suck underscore at underscore video games underscore.
Or it just need to be ope. underscore I underscore died. Like, oh, I died. Like that needs to be. You know what? You know what? You have a Twitch.
Bro,
You have a
that's a
Twitch name.
$1 million idea right there,
You have a
bro.
Twitch name now. Here, we'll edit that out so nobody knows.
All right, bet.
so, so, so now that we know what he does all day long, so my life drastically changed. I went from Oklahoma, where we were, and moved to California. Decided that it was time to have a kid, and then I decided to move the family to New York. And when I say I decided, I guess my wife decided. Let's be real. But so now we're living in near Rochester, New York, and bro, there's some creepy stuff out here. The houses are old. I bought an old house, almost 200 years old, and it's been real interesting
Yeah.
because it's not haunted, which I was really upset about. And I was like, man, of all of the places that, so I recently found out that we bought a house that is on the second piece of property ever purchased in the area, but
Mhm.
it's the first house ever built in the area. I thought it was like the second or third, but it is the very first house standing in this area. Didn't know that. And it's not
Mhm.
haunted. We saged the place, nothing going on here. And I've never said in my life that I was really upset about it,
Yeah.
the lack of haunting. And
Right.
so I have to show you something
Don't you
because
have to be in Connecticut though?
haunting in Connecticut. No, this is still like an old enough part of. So I
Or
found out recently
Amityville?
is
In
I
the
found out
Amityville? The Eminem song?
that's a
And the Ryan Reynolds remake movie?
yeah. I always
Yeah,
forget that that's
yeah.
Ryan Reynolds every single
Yeah.
time. My brother
What
always reminds
can't
me.
he do?
Right. Heck, he even has a cell phone company. So
I know. What is it? Sprint?
mint.
Oh,
Mint.
same thing.
So the thing about all of that is you always call this place a money pit, and I can't wait for you to come see it because it's actually coming along pretty nicely.
Is it though?
Um, okay, so
I'll be the judge of that.
be the judge right now. So
Are,
if you
are
want
are we getting a virtual tour?
if you
Is
want to
that what's happening?
if you want to set the tone, so I got to tell you
All
a
right.
crazy story.
How do I
So
set the tone?
So, just like that.
Okay.
So so we've had like a few plumbing issues in it. Stop it. We've had a few plumbing issues in the
Mhm.
house, and so we had that work done and taken care of, home warranty, adulting, and all of that crap. But a lot of that work obviously has to happen in the basement.
Mm.
And if you haven't seen creepy yet, then just brace yourself because this is my basement.
Was this a new Resident Evil game?
Bro, I'm telling you, this is literally my basement. There's my wife.
Oh, okay. She's not a zombie yet.
Not yet, but that's my basement. And
Oh,
of
that's
course, the entrance was way back there. That little light in the corner that you
yeah.
saw,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is where my breaker box is. So when the power goes out, I have to go all the way into my basement. But look at this place, dude. It's creepy.
Yeah, this is like
Creepy.
something that Dahmer would have used back in the day.
Bro, check this out. So this is a coal room. This is where they kept coal back in the day when they ran the coal furnace. And
Who
there's
owned
still
the house
coal.
before you? Trump?
So the original owners of the house, it's called the Blodgett Estate. Now let me tell you about this real quick.
The obliged to stay?
The Blodgett Estate.
Oh,
So
if you're so obliged, you just stay.
I
I
can't
get it.
stand you. So let me tell you about this and this gaping hole right here, which sounds a
Eh,
lot worse than I meant it to.
yeah, I
So
know.
the thing that's weird is when we first moved in, you see that brick right or the blocks right there with the mortar, and it looks like something sealed up. I told myself and I told my wife, I was like, hey, that's something. There's something going on in there. Like that was a room and it's sealed. That's exactly what that looks like. And
Right.
we just never paid any other attention to it because we didn't ever see anything about it whenever
Now,
we
was the hole there before you realized that something was back there?
no.
Or
So
is that the result of you realizing something back there?
So we recently had another plumbing issue, like the drainage system in our house backed
Mhm.
up, and so we had to have somebody come and clog it. They unclogged it, it was good, but then a week later, it wasn't good anymore, and it was just still kind of backing up a little bit. We found out it backs up when we use a lot of water for something. So if we're like doing laundry and the dishes, and somebody takes a shower all at the same time, that's when it starts to back up because there's a pipe that's like leaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That
an old
pipe,
house, bro. That's how that'd be.
so that pipe they said that it runs in there. They said that's a room. There's stuff behind this this wall. It's a sealed in room. There is electrical going in there. There is plumbing going in there. And I was like, bro, I knew it. I freaking knew it. I knew something was going on. This was way too good to be true. There's no haunt going on here, but like something. And
Bro,
so
why do you have why do you
I had to take a sledgehammer to this wall, bro. People on TikTok been tripping on me about it.
oh my gosh, why do you have the cord hanging down?
It was like that, dude. That's
It is
how we bought
that
it.
cord is hanging on by a
For
thread, bro.
dear life, bro. For dear life. And
That cord
it's
is like
that cord's like, just take me already. Just
I'm
take me.
so tired.
I'm so tired. So yeah, this is my basement. I've plugged that light up to it so I can at least see in
Yeah,
there. And look, this is a well. That's a filled in well from way back in the day. That's how they used to get their
bro.
water.
Yeah,
Right there in the basement.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and there's my new water heater because that messed up when we first got here. So that's great.
Yeah. How much you
But
pay for that?
honestly, it was the home warranty, so I didn't pay more than like 150 bucks for it. So like
That's
it
what's
was under
up.
the home warranty. So like that's my basement. And so it's been a journey, and I started
You know what you
breaking.
need to do? You need to
Hmm.
rent that out to Kanye and them when they film their next music video, and they I'm for real. You know, Kanye, Pusha T, 2 Chains, all them boy, they come down there, man. They would film it in black and white,
Yeah, they
super
would.
widescreen like a Tarantino movie,
Hmm.
and that'd be dope. I'm just
Well,
telling you.
we found out through,
I'm gonna
and
film my video in there.
so I'll, oh my god, so I'll cover a lot of this in like future episodes. Like we'll talk more about it, but we found out through a lot of research because we need to figure out what's in that room and
Yeah.
like what it was used for, all of that stuff.
Was
So
it
the
Anne
parts come
Frank in
back.
there or something?
So, interestingly enough, we found out that the family that lived here, that like originally owned the property because it was a flour mill. We found out through a lot of digging through the archives online and looking at people's posts and stuff that um, they were heavily involved in the Underground Railroad. And this area was heavily involved, like it was a stop. So Frederick Douglass apparently is from Rochester. Harriet Tubman's farm is out here in the area. And
What?
yeah, so like it's
The
crazy.
historical significance.
I'm telling you. And so we found that out, and we're still digging and finding a lot of interesting stuff. So more information to come, but that's what we're dealing with right now is the fact that I have a creepy basement and that thing is in there and I got to figure out what's behind
What you
it.
gonna do with the basement though? You got any plans for it or anything? Or you just gonna
Oh
let it
yeah.
look like,
Oh no,
tall
no,
or some shit?
no. No, so
Wanna play a game?
we're gonna eventually do it up like real nice and like basically have like a bar down, like a speakeasy type thing. Like we're gonna
Hey,
hide the
so
door.
hey, so you're gonna put a bed down there for your boy?
Just you? Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll put a bed
Yeah,
in the coal
man.
room.
Like
You can
it's
sleep in the coal room.
just me. Who am I bringing?
Well, fine. I didn't want to join anyway. So,
I mean,
anyways, that's
I'm convinced my future wife live in New York.
you're looking for one very specific type of person.
Bro, they got like 15 million people there. There got to be somebody.
Surely somebody's perfect for Sane out here. But so yeah, that's a little bit about me. Being out here, owning land. It's kind of interesting. I have a John Deere tractor. I have coveralls, muck boots, and I've a chainsaw. And like I've never felt more country in my life.
You have a
Like
chainsaw?
Even in Oklahoma, I've never felt this country for
How did
real.
they let you get a chainsaw?
It was a gift. Somebody else bought it. So there's that. But like so the creepiness and all of that, we just came out of spooky season. We're now into the holiday season. Here's my
Mhm.
thing. Here's the thing. I got to talk about this just for a brief moment. We went trick-or-treating with our son, who is now a year old, but at the time, like, what can he have? He can't even have candy. So at this point, we're just using him to get candy. The first
Yeah.
place that we go to, the first stop, I have to know. They gave me some information just based on their actions that I didn't have before. Did parents used to get beer and shots when they would take kids trick-or-treating back in the day? Because that's what happened at my very first stop.
Bro, my parents never took me trick or treating.
Bro, we went trick-or-treating. We had him in the stroller. We're like, oh my gosh, look, the cute little Buzz Lightyear. And then they just gave him as many snacks as he could actually eat, like a bunch of cheese puffs and like all kinds of stuff. We didn't even have to go to another house, but we still did because we needed candy. But
Right.
so when they were done filling him up, they go, "Mom, Dad, do you want a shot? We've got Jello shots, we've got caramel vodka, we've got whipped cream
Yo,
vodka, we've got Tito's," and I'm like, you've got options for me to take a shot at this thing? Like, this is a Halloween party at this point.
you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that episode
Huh.
of Bob's Burgers where the kids go to the rich neighborhood to go trick or treating.
Oh, with the full candy bars.
And they get the full candy bars. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of like what you got going
Bro,
on.
I'm telling you right now, every Halloween from this point on, when I take that young boy
You're just
trick or
getting
treating,
liquored up.
I'm going to that first spot. And then when I convert to being the trick or treat, I don't know what that is, the one who gives out the candy. When I become that, I'm gonna have a full bar for the parents. This is gonna be set up like right
Bro,
there in
gonna
the
be walking
doorway.
down the road trick or treat talking about this is Thriller. Thriller night.
Misty in the car. We stopped an hour ago. Come on. I'm just walking like I'm actually drunk, just dragging my foot, walking down the street, looking like a zombie. So
Bro.
that was a weird revelation for me. I had to think to
I
myself, like,
never heard of that, honestly.
I
But
had not
I can
either.
honestly like I don't think I ever really went trick or treat. The only thing I did is like I've handed out candy before, but like that's about it. Like and usually I was over at somebody else's house handing out their candy. Like, cause I ain't if I buy candy, that's for me. Like I don't
That's fair.
yeah,
I
forget
used
them
to
kids.
so in my early 20s, I like partied hard and like would always be at a
No.
Halloween party. I would always be at a Halloween party, and there was one year where, like, my friend was like wanting to hand out candy, and whoever was closest to the door at the time, which is a really horrible idea for the kids, would hand out the candy. I remember answering the door at one point. I was just about to black out, and I know that because I blacked out while the door was open. So I
That
open the
checks out.
door, and I see two parents and a kid, and the little kid goes trick or treat, and I go ah, and I don't remember anything after that noise. I have no idea how much candy I gave this little kid. I don't nothing.
He probably
And
just fell on the ground and the parents stood there awkwardly. Do we help him
so
or
Peter Griffin just just like immediately hit the ground.
do we help him or do we just okay, yeah, let's go. I don't want to know.
Grab the candy, let's go. so so that was my like as I got older, Halloween obviously just became like a party fest. And so that kind of transitions me into the holidays.
Yes,
Was Christmas like a big thing for you? Did you like
it used to be. It ain't no
did,
more.
what was like the tradition for you like growing up? Like what traditions did you have for Christmas?
We went over to my grandma's house most of the time and we
Yeah.
just kicked it over there all day. Um
But like
we
what
didn't
things did you do?
nothing. We just sat around and opened presents and ate food. Like
There was no football, like nothing like that.
I mean, yeah, we watched football. Like, but they were Cowboys fans, so they always wanted to watch the Cowboys, and I was like, gross. Like, and I used to make fun of them. Like, I'd be like, it's not 1995 anymore.
Dude, I'm surprised that's been America's team for so long, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the team that America forgot. Anyway, um, I'm just kidding.
Cowboy
No,
fans, I don't apologize.
but like I'm always fascinated by people that have like all these holiday traditions. Like my first wife, they had a tradition where they would make like a spread of breakfast food in the morning. I'm talking eggs, hash brown, bacon, biscuits, sausage, like the whole nine. And like the first time they ever did that, I was like, what why are we doing this? And they was like, because it's Christmas and you eat before you open the gifts, and then we gonna eat after we open the gifts. I'm like, cool.
Why did you even question that? I was, like I
Well,
wouldn't.
because like, like I never know nothing like that. Like we ate chicken a la king and ramen noodles growing up, man. I ain't know nothing about that.
Oh, I just remember growing up, being Hispanic, we had tamales.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
great.
So
Yeah,
we
that way
was
we had.
white. We didn't do all that.
Oh, I mean, we needed something to unwrap. That's the joke that I heard growing up my whole life.
Oh, that's I got
I just went with it. I was like, dude, they're delicious. They're amazing.
Hey,
They're
they are,
amazing.
bro. I love
Honestly, but
tamales.
they are a bitch to prepare, and so, like,
Oh, yeah,
when
for
I
sure.
first went to go prepare my first holiday on my own, I was like, "I'm gonna make some tamales, man. It's gonna be great." And, went about the recipe and all of that stuff. I got
Mhm,
about a quarter of the way through the first part,
mhm.
which is, cleaning out the corn husks and, like, doing the masa on there, and I gave up.
Yeah.
There's just so much to do, bro. I didn't even make the meat. I was like,
I'm not
"No."
even gonna lie, like, that doesn't, like I'm like, when I hear you say that, I'm just like, "Yeah, that checks out."
Is it right here? Is it
Yeah,
because
yeah. I just and also, like, I know you, bro. Like, I know you.
I mean, yeah, ADHD, it was not doing it for me because that was like a 2, 3 day like venture if I was trying to do that by
Yeah,
myself, and I
and
was.
you don't have you don't have the attention span for all that.
So oddly enough, we did that, but we had some traditions that were not very Hispanic at all,
Such
and you will
as
know exactly what I mean when I say this. So we did gingerbread houses every year. My mom was a pastry chef,
that checks out,
and
yeah.
so
That
my mom
explains why you made us do it on the morning show.
Bro, that was such a mistake. So so I got, like, really good at doing gingerbread houses over the years, and so now, like, if I'm at work and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a gingerbread house contest," I'm like, "It's not a contest, but yeah, let's go. Let's do it." And so, I mean, that's just me now. So, but, yeah, gingerbread houses was one, and then we went and looked at Christmas nights at night,
Yeah,
which was a thing, and then obviously the holiday movies would be going on, and my dad would
yeah,
watch football, that sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously we'd open presents in the morning, do our thing. But I
Pa's
don't
still
even.
a Raiders fan?
Yeah, I'm still a Raiders fan too.
Are you, though?
Yeah, I'm a Raiders fan to the point where I tell people that I'm a Raiders fan, and I need to really get
That's
back
as
into
far as it
football.
goes.
I need to get back into football is really what it is, and I think I'm going to do it next year. That's my New Year's resolution, if you can believe that I have one.
I'll
Um,
hold you to it.
Yeah, sure you will. And so so all these different traditions. Sorry, and like when I was younger than that, we used to travel to California and visit all my family, like my big
Right.
Hispanic family, and we did Christmas plays. It was the most all the kids, and when I say all the kids, it was like a bunch. Like, it was a whole. I can't count on one hand how many kids were in these Christmas plays, and we did like Charlie Brown Christmas. And one year they gave me Linus because I carried a blue blanket when I was real young, and they were like, "Yeah, you can be Linus." Do you remember Linus having a long ass monologue in the Charlie Brown Christmas? He talks about the meaning, the spirit of Christmas, like the whole meaning of Christmas. And it's just
Yeah.
this like very intricate monologue that Linus
Mhm.
as a kid should not be saying because he should
Right.
not know this many big words.
It's
And I'm
one of
just
those
sitting there.
moments where the writer had a message.
Right. And I'm just sitting there
Right.
like, that, that's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. I'm like, I can't remember all of that. The first time I'd seen it was the day we flew in, which was the day
Yeah.
before. And I'm
Right, right, right.
there. My aunt,
I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike, that sounds awful.
it was horrible.
It sounds
And
yeah.
and now that I have a kid, my dad over here talking about, yep, he's gonna be in those Christmas plays. I'm like, I'm not about to put my kid. I'm not about to put my kid through that. That's horrible. If
I
it,
can see your dad wanting
Well,
to do that.
what was horseshit though. I was very charismatic as a kid, and so they gave me the Linus line and like the whole part, and it
Mhm.
was horrible. I didn't do well. My brother Snoopy,
Yeah, that checks
no
out.
no lines except for bow. Like
Bro,
that's the
that I'm
only
not gonna
line.
your brother's perfect for that role.
If you don't know who my brother is, he'll pop up on this show
How's
at
he
least once or
doing,
twice.
by the way?
Listen, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But he's good. He's good.
Good.
He's
That's all I
good.
needed to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these Christmas traditions have me really thinking, and like the older I got, the less connected I was with Christmas. But then COVID came,
Yeah.
and like the Christmas spirit, season, traditions, all of that stuff just kind of went sideways when it came to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like really, really sideways. And so I was
Yeah.
trying to look up some different things, what was the real impact? Because I know for me, the impact was we did the Christmas play, we did a
Mhm.
Christmas reading with that entire part of the family
Right, right, right.
virtually. And I was sick. I had COVID at the time, the first year that COVID, when they came out with COVID.
Right.
I had it, and we did the virtual like
When
play
COVID
thing.
first dropped.
And so I'm sitting there like this on this virtual thing, just watching all these kids in the family now, just like read these, like sing these songs and read
Oh,
these
I bet
things. And
you
I'm
were
just like,
just
this.
so bothered.
And if any of my family is watching, I'm really sorry. But at the time, I didn't have a kid. But we also made gingerbread houses because
Mhm.
they said that was a good idea. And I'm like, okay, it's not a contest at all
But
because
it is.
I ended up winning. Let's be real. So and then I wore a Christmas sweater that year, and I feel horrible in hindsight. I wore a Christmas sweater that had two snowmen tripping balls on mushrooms. That's my favorite Christmas sweater, and you can't tell that that's what's happening when you first see. You're like, that's so cute. Those snowmen. Oh dear God. So like that's exactly the reaction I get. And so I'm just wearing it on this like
Bro,
holiday virtual thing. Just
I'm not
all
gonna
these little
lie, I
children.
expect nothing less.
That's fair. That's fair. So yeah,
Mm,
that's how that changed like that aspect. So we
mhm.
just did it virtually. But apparently holiday planning on a wide scale, like different polls showed that it got more stressful because you had to do virtual and you had to have this
Yeah.
big presentation and everything had to go smoothly and go right. And so one person had to be the techie who was making sure that all the camera angles got changed over. So yeah, like I said, I was just kind of reading through some things and like apparently overall people just have less Christmas spirit or
Oh, yeah, for
traditions
sure.
just don't stand anymore. I,
Bro, I do not have a tree. I didn't buy no presents. I ain't watched no movies.
you don't watch a single movie,
I ain't watched a single Christmas movie. Bro,
bro.
I've been binge watching The Wire again.
Bro, come on, bro. Because that was the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was what the classic Christmas movies were and what makes them classic. Honestly, mine, Elf is on the list.
Yeah, Elf has to be on the list.
Right.
Even
Okay,
if you
so
don't like Will Ferrell, which there's a like a group of people, I guess, that don't. They're like anti Will Ferrell for whatever reason. Like you still got to admit, Elf was pretty good.
bro, I've got a soft spot now that I have my kiddo. And
Hmm.
obviously we're me and my wife are Disney adults. More about
Yeah,
that coming up. But so one thing that I realized was that Noel, have you heard of Noel? It's the one
yeah,
with Anna
yeah,
Kendrick. Noel is basically Elf, but newer.
yeah.
And it's
That's how they
actually
do you.
it's actually
Like,
really good, bro.
okay. So the other night I was on TikTok. I was doing boxes. I was talking with some of my peoples, and we were talking about the Grinch, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh no, man, I only watched the Jim Carrey one." I'm like, "You don't watch the cartoon one?" No, I just watched the Jim Carrey one. Have you ever seen the cartoon one? Oh yeah, I seen it when I was like 5, but like I just watched the Jim Carrey one. And I'm like, the cartoon one was good. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Jim Carrey did his thing, but like the cartoon, man, like it's a thing.
I'm not big on the cartoon version compared to the Jim Carrey version.
That's the thing. Like, that's one of the only, I guess, Christmas remakes, if you will, that just like completely overshadows the original.
True. Honestly,
And
I'm
like
trying to
it,
think of other ones, and that's it.
yeah, because no one talks about the cartoon. They just use that stupid GIF where the Grinch is like,
So,
that's the only remembrance of the cartoon is
so
it's a GIF now.
the cartoon is like it's GIF, by the way, but the cartoon is like
No,
30
it's GIF.
minutes. No, that's peanut
It's like
butter.
no, it's the same thing. Okay, whatever. I'll call it GIF. I don't give a fuck. How about that?
We'll work on that. Okay, we got some homework to do.
You got some homework to do. My name's
So,
Mike.
I hate you so ultimately,
GIF.
it's 30 minutes long.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, but that's why nobody wants to watch. It's not a full length film.
Bro, people don't have attention spans for long times now.
No,
Like
honestly, you end up
a
on
30-minute
TikTok.
cartoon is perfect.
True.
Like
It's
when
just not as
TikToks are
good.
longer than 5 minutes, I'm like, nope.
I just want to take all of the lines from the Jim Carrey version and dub it over on the cartoon and
That's
then make
actually
it.
not a bad idea. I'm
It
surprised
could
no one's
be.
done that.
It could be more appealing. You never
It could
know.
be. Yeah.
But also, the Home Alone, 1 or 2? Which one?
One.
Mm-mm. I've
What is
watched
wrong
I've
with
watched
you?
both of them every single year, and yes, I said both of them because I don't acknowledge anything after
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
second
yeah. It's
one.
like Friday After Next. No one cares. Oh, yeah. Shame me.
Bro, Christmas and come on now, bro.
Top flight security of the world, Craig. I get it.
We nothing like that. We something like that. I love that movie. Ricky Smiley killed it as Santa.
No, I did like Friday After Next. I'm just
Friday After
kidding.
Next was great, but
It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as the other
no,
two.
not near. It's not near as good as
Yeah.
1 and 2.
How
But
can you say that Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1?
because, bro, that was like so.
Is it
Home Alone.
because you moved to New York and you're like, "Oh, I'm
I
such
knew
a New
it.
Yorker with my basement. Oh
I
my gosh, I got to go get a chopped egg and cheese and I'm going to get it the Aki way."
I knew you were gonna do that to me. No,
Hey,
that's
I'm
not why.
walking over here.
Okay, I've actually said that in the city, and we'll talk more
I
about
bet
that
you
later.
have.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna say it when you come and visit. But what I will
Yeah,
say
well, I
is
mean,
Home Alone 2. No, let's start over. Home Alone, the original one. It was a nightmare, bro. A nightmare.
how was it a nightmare?
I felt the stress of him because he was at home, he was alone, and he was having to figure everything out. Like at the beginning, he was real excited getting into everything, and then he started having to figure it out. He had to
Bro,
buy his
that
own
was
toothbrush.
bro, in the 90s, that was every kid's dream.
He had to buy his own steal his own toothbrush.
That was every kid's dream in the
Bro,
90s, to
nah,
be
fam.
armed to the teeth with a pellet gun
And
and paint
literally
cans in your dad's garage
and
and
literally
take out
fire.
like 2 Italian actors.
I'm gonna be
Well,
honest
1
with you.
Italian actor,
I
the
was
other
gonna
guy, he
say
wasn't.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Marv
yeah, he would. No, no.
was his name Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern. No, that's
Yes,
was it
Daniel
Dan
Stern.
was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because
Wow.
he's the one who directed Rookie of the Year. I don't know
That
why I
checks out.
remember that.
That checks out,
But
honestly.
yeah, because he was
That yeah.
Brigma from Rookie of the
Yeah.
Year.
Yeah, he
But
was.
anyways, so
Anyway,
the thing is,
continue.
I just got anxiety halfway through the movie when he has to shop for himself. He's walking home and the groceries fall out, and then he's running from the cops at a certain
Yeah, but
point.
see, how old is you?
I'm 33.
That's why.
Dude, it freaked me out. But then
That's
Lost in
why,
New
bro.
York, this dude had his dad's credit card. He got a limo with a pizza. He got to go to a toy store and he got to go into a house that was being renovated and just have a free for all.
But see, like, if you came up before, like then, like kids didn't have credit cards like that, like back in the day, So like having a pellet gun and a paint can and a house that was way too expensive have you seen the theory on what his dad did talking about the first house and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah.
bro,
Dude, his whole
his
family was involved.
dude, they was some scheming,
They had to have been scheming, bro. His brother
bro.
had a house in New York City that was getting
Yep.
renovated and he lived in Paris. Are you
Yeah. Frank,
kidding
you got
me?
some money, don't you? Traveler's checks.
Do you remember Uncle Frank? The part that resonated with me that told me how disgustingly rich the McAllisters were was when he said, what did he say? Hey, you shut your mouth. Your dad's paying good money for these tickets. Like, dude, your dad dropped money on all these other people to go on
Bro,
vacation
like,
with him?
no,
For real?
the night before they left, okay, when the doorbell rings and it's the pizza guy, and he had 10 pizzas
Bro, I ain't seen
for
that
that
many pizzas.
whole family, and there wasn't 10 people. Was there 10 people?
There had to
No,
have
I
been.
think it was 11. I think it was 11 because I remember
Yeah.
the girl counting
9, 10,
10,
11. Why do I
11.
remember that with you? Oh my god. For
But
somebody
like,
who ain't watched no Christmas movies, you remember the shit out of that.
well, I mean, it's on every year. Like, who hasn't seen Home Alone? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah, at this point, spoiler alerts.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, the amount of money that family had was ridiculous, and like that's why the first one will always be boss to me, because like the kid was just, it was him versus everything, and he had to just figure it out. He ain't had no credit card, he ain't had no talk boy, he just had to figure it out. So that's why, like, because that's kind of like been like my entire life, honestly. So like that's why I liked the first one better, because the story was different. Not that the second one was bad,
So
but
my
like it was just different. It
I
it
don't
didn't hit the same.
one thing that I will call out about the second one, you're telling me that a child coerced his way into checking into the Plaza Hotel
That's
with
what
his
I'm
dad's
saying. Like, it
stolen ass
wasn't
credit card.
believable. The
It's
first one was believable. The first one was believable. That happens all the time. You ain't you
all
gonna
the
tell
time.
me,
How many kids lived home alone?
bro?
No, like being
All the
left home alone.
time.
No, being left at home while your family traveled out of state by mistake, and they realized on the plane. And
Okay,
when I say
maybe
out of
not
state,
that
they
drastic,
were going
but you
out of
know
the
what I'm saying?
country.
Like, kids were at home during the summertime while their parents was working,
That's way different, bro.
and they had to walk to the store.
They
And there
didn't
was
have to.
always a little corner store around the way,
They
and
didn't
they
have
had
to.
like $5 on it, and they went in there and bought whatever they needed.
They
And
didn't have
most
to
of the
steal a
time, it wasn't
toothbrush.
toothpaste. I mean, they
But
didn't have to steal, but stealing back in the 90s was
easy.
fun. I mean, yeah, it was really, bro. Okay, so one time, I ain't gonna lie.
Oh my god, no! Is there a
One
statute of
time,
limitations on this shit?
one time,
Oh my
I
god.
was in 7th grade,
Okay.
and I went to a Walmart with my dad and my sister. And that was back when they had CDs. This is like 97, 98, right? So I had the jacket. It was a Michigan Wolverines jacket. It's one of those starter jackets back in the day, right?
Oh my
And I
god.
had cut the inline of the jacket
Of
so that
course
I
you
could
did.
slip things down in the jacket, right? So I go to the CD section and I grabbed like 2 CDs I wanted. And this was before they started putting like plastic covers on them. So like the alarm would go off when you go out, you know what I mean?
Oh, it
So I
made it like this tall. It was
yeah, 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 yeah,
like
yeah. It was before that. So I grabbed 2 of them and I slipped them in the pocket. And usually, like, you grab them and you carry them around for a little bit, and you go to a place where there aren't no cameras, and you just slip it. I don't know how it works. I just know what I did. So like, I did that, and I'm walking, and I noticed that there's this store worker who seems to be everywhere that I'm at, and he's following me. I'm like, I gotta dish this, bruh. So like, you do that move where like you go down one aisle, then you turn down another aisle, then you turn down another aisle, and then boom, you're out of sight. So I take the 2 CDs out and I just put them on the shelf and I just walk away because he was following me.
Bro, I was expecting you to say that you ran down these aisles and lost him, and then all of a sudden he sees you up at the front and he goes, "Hey, you there?" And then
No,
you
no, no,
go
no,
by
no,
you
no.
go by the jewelry counter and you grab pearls and you just like put them on this. I was like, "See, Home Alone 2, better."
Or what am I, Leonardo DiCaprio from Catch Me If You Can? I wasn't that good.
No, you're Kevin
Anyway,
McAllister from the second Home Alone.
fair. Anyway, so I go back to where my dad and my sister are, and my sister's got like the Usher CD talking about, can I get this? And the dude walking by me and my pops, 2 CDs in hand, and he looks at me and he's like, "How you doing?" And I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Almost had you." And he walked off, and my dad's like, "What's he talking about?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. He probably drunk." Swear to God, bro.
That's not where I thought that was gonna go at all.
Derail.
Also, I don't know if that's privilege or not. I would have been in the room. He would have had me in the room. Hey, we
No, but
still had you.
not if they don't catch you red-handed. There ain't nothing they can do if they don't catch you red-handed. You have to have the. I don't know how it is today, because I'm an adult now. I wasn't like 12 or whatever age I was when I decided to venture into that little. I wasn't looping or anything. You know what I'm saying?
You weren't looping. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you ain't never seen that Netflix show about Arsène Lupin or whatever, the French dude who was like a cat burglar and he went around and stole things?
No.
You have no idea what I'm talking
I
about.
have not the slightest clue. Never heard of it.
See, this is why you and I don't get along.
Oh, that's why. Of all of the things, that's the
Yep. Go watch Lupin or Lupin because it's French. Watch that, absorb its message, and then come back and we will talk about it.
So I have some homework. Okay,
Yes.
good to know. Good to know.
There's like a season or 2. I don't know.
So final note here. just to bring it back to Christmas, because I don't know how we started talking about your criminal record or your criminal antics back in the day, but
I was a heathen.
the more that I think about Christmas and the more that I like see different things about Christmas
Mhm.
online, and obviously I'm late to the party if I'm talking about all these things. Just over the years, I know other people have mentioned these things, but like when I really think about it, like he sees you when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
That's creepy, right?
AF.
And then like our parents trusted the mall Santa enough for us to sit on his lap. Like that's creepy, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of creepiness to
But
Christmas
it's not
time.
the same. It's not like it was back in the day though. You know what I mean? Like back in the day when you was a kid, times was different. So
That's
like
true.
you thought the mall Santa was actually just a normal person. You didn't think he was like, had one of them things on his tires. Like when they showed the old boy in Home Alone who was like smoking a cigarette outside. Like you thought that was the worst thing that the homeless Santa could do.
And his car wouldn't start up.
His car wouldn't start. He was probably hollering at that little elf girl.
Honestly, I feel like he was, and
Yeah,
that's how.
I felt like that needed to. Yeah, he was
See,
hollering at that little girl.
we need a prequel.
Yeah,
We need to be
yeah,
between the lines on
yeah.
Home
He
Alone.
was like, "How about I take you home and follow law your law?"
Oh my god! So the more that I think, follow law your law.
I could deck the halls too.
Oh my! So thinking on decking the halls, which is a lot worse of a transition than I wanted it to be. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you think about socks hanging over the fireplace to dry off, because that's what used to happen back in the day.
Yeah, because it was snowing outside.
Yeah, and then when you think
And you
about
ain't
those
had no boots
nasty,
because they stole them all in World War II.
and when you think of it, wow, and so when you think about those nasty ass socks,
Because it's a German holiday.
I get it. So when you when you think about those socks,
Nine.
people putting like knickknacks and
Yeah,
like candy in there, and these
it's
nasty
weird.
socks, bro.
It's
Like
weird.
stocking, like
It's
how?
it's weird.
I'm trying to figure that out.
It's weird.
I've been
Like,
trying to figure that out for years.
okay, what's the significance of the tree? Why I gotta go out and get a tree and put a tree in the house? That don't make no damn sense.
There is a whole story behind it. Okay.
It's not a psychiatrist's office. Huh?
Is that the derailing part? So like lastly, I guess I read this like really recently. Do you know how mistletoe, like this is just what I read. Do you know how mistletoe spreads? Like how it like I guess gets like spread around. I make it sound like an STD or something like that, but you know how mistletoe like ends up spreading?
Well, when two people love each other.
When a mommy and a daddy love each other, they spread it. You know what? You know what? I can't even. I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna continue that part. I'm not.
All
Even,
right. All right. That's
so
fair.
this has been discussions and other stupidity. This is the best we got. We literally hit record and we kind of go with it and we see where it goes. Very obviously, we have one side who just kind of runs with the clutches. If that's even. Can you imagine running? And anyways, make sure if you want to see some extra content that you didn't see in this podcast, you go over to DOS Podcast on all social media platforms. And in case you forgot it, there it is right there. DOS Podcast, all social media platforms. Okay.
Not to be confused with POS.